What is going on? I want to welcome you from Half Court for today, February 2nd, 2023. I am your host, Sean Murphy. Today, we got to talk about some big news. Not NBA trade deadline news, that is. We're talking about, of course, Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren being selected to the Jordan Rising Stars Challenge. They were 2 of 11 rookies that were selected in this year's challenge to go up against these sophomore class, which, by the way, is really infuriating seeing all these guys that were in Cade's class that are going to be in this challenge and knowing that Cade's not going to be there. It's just damn. But anyway, we're going to be able to see from the rookie class, in addition to Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey, we're going to be able to see Paolo Banchero, AJ Griffin, Walker Kessler, Benedict Mathurin, Keegan Murray, Andrew Nembhard, Jabari Smith Jr., Jeremy Sohan, and Jalen Williams. So going to be a really fun game. Really looking forward to that as well. There's also going to be 6 G League Ignite players that are going to be participating too, including Scoot Henderson, which I'm personally really excited to see Scoot go up against this rookie class. I think that's going to be one of the most fun parts of that game. But ultimately for me, what stands out about this is, first of all, this is the first time in franchise history that the Pistons have had 2 rookies in this event at the same time. Not to be confused, of course, when Troy Weaver had 3 players that were in this event last season, when Cade Cunningham was there representing the rookies and Isaiah Stewart and Sadiq Bey were there representing the sophomore. But even in the NBA's rookie ladders, they both have Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren in the league's top 10 for that too. So the fact that, the Pistons got 2 rookies that are considered the top 10 in their class that are excelling despite the team's struggling and going through the injuries and the trials and tribulations that they have. I mean, Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren have had to play through a lot of adversity. And yeah, even though there's been some times where you look at them and there's boneheaded mistakes and there's turnovers that you wish you could take back, there's fouls that you wish you weren't there. But at the same time, there's moments that you're blown away by their basketball maturity given their age. I mean, Jaden Ivey has had multiple games where he's had double-digit assists with no turnovers. I mean, the fact that Jaden Ivey can do that in his first season is incredibly impressive. And, the fact that he has been able to have a little bit more of that on-ball development and that opportunity to run the offense, I think has been a good thing for him and could be a potential blessing in disguise for his career. In that sense, it's just a bummer that we didn't get to see that play out with Cade. But when you watch a guy like Jalen Duren and see what kind of tool he's been for Jaden Ivey and how much of a duo they've been in the sense of lobs that they've been catching. I mean, I think James Edwards III actually made an article this morning talking about the fact that Jaden Ivey and the majority of Jaden Ivey's assists are actually to Jalen Duren. And quite frankly, you can tell because they have become quite the duo. I mean, their athleticism fits each other perfectly, right? They both can get up to places that I could never even ponder, jumping even more than 5 inches off the ground. But I mean, the fact that these guys can do what they do, I mean, it just seems like they're mentally starting to become in sync. And when you have an athletic guard have that type of relationship with an athletic big, historically speaking, we've seen that work out pretty well in the NBA. So, pretty good thing to have. But then to know that you're adding the general, the thing that makes this all go, the engine that makes this train go, chugga, chugga, chew. I mean, man, it's about to be different. I can't believe I just did that. And I know people are disappointed with the losing and everything that's happened this season, but I think people need to realize, the fact that you add another lottery talent next to two players like this, and then you add Cade Cunningham back into the lineup, you realize how much significantly more talent there's going to be on the court next year, right? Take the fact that no matter where we land in this year's lottery, this is being called one of the best drafts of all time. We're going to have the Thompson twins to choose from. We're going to have Brandon Miller from Alabama to choose from. We're going to have Scoot Henderson to choose from. There's Victor Wembanyama in that class. The beauty of it is no matter where they land, help is on the way with them and Cade and the cap space. And if you hold on to the players that you have right now, that's a pretty good roster. It's significantly more talented than what we have right now. You might be thinking, can one player really change that much? Yes! when a guy like Cade Cunningham goes out of the lineup, who's able to give you 20 points and 10 assists on any given night. I mean, bloody hell, it hurts. There's nights where I'm just watching and it's just, man, if they had Cade. But quite frankly, I'm just glad that these guys are getting the recognition that they deserve, because these two have been the lifeblood of this season. This has been what Pistons fans have been excited to tune in for. These guys are the reason that they're getting up and still rooting for this team. And they're the reason why fans are still excited and see the future, is because of the fact that these guys are such hits. Now, are these guys perennial all-stars? I mean, it's way too early to tell. All we know is that Jaden Ivey's been able to come in and average 15, 5, and 5 in his rookie year. Jalen Duren has been averaging 10 and 10 since he's entered the starting lineup, and he's only 19 years old. I mean, particularly the game that sticks out in my head where it just felt like, oh my gosh, Jalen Duren's going to be a star, was when he went to Charlotte. And even though he didn't have the greatest game on the offensive end, he got 13 boards, which 6 of them were on the offensive glass. And then he got like 3 or 4 blocks as well on the defensive end, which, by the way, it was great that he was able to do that in Charlotte, right in front of the franchise that traded him to the Knicks, who subsequently traded him to the Pistons. I mean, I just can't fathom being an NBA owner, watching this guy play and going, wait a minute. My general manager and 11 or 12 others all passed on this guy? Like, what? I'm telling you right now, if the Washington Wizards could hit the redo button, they'd be smashing that like no tomorrow. Because, man, I can tell you with certainty, I think he's a little better than Johnny Davis. But I think what makes me the most excited about their development and their future potential is the fact that I think you see characteristics of former Pistons greats in both of these guys. I mean, Jalen Duren is just a dog for his age, and the fact that at 19 years old, he's sitting at 250 pounds, isn't afraid to bang in the post with anybody, hasn't been intimidated by anyone he's seen in the league. I think, you know, just the sky is the limit on that guy. And then with Jaden Ivey, just his athleticism, his burst, his speed, but also just the fact that he so often looks for others and is trying to set up his teammates as well. I mean, there's just so much to like about his future. And do we know who's going to be in this backcourt going forward? Like, do we know everything about this franchise? No. But what we do know is that right now we have some pretty awesome talent. We have some help on the way, at the very least, through the draft. And then whatever free agency and trades bring, I mean, I'm just telling you, man, there's some real talent here. And these two guys can get a lot better just in an offseason. And sure, you could trade vets like Burks and Bogdanovich if you wanted to, and go and try and get more assets and maybe get more young guys and just let these guys frickin' run. But I think the reality of it is you need some older voices in this locker room. And also, when this team is better next year, you're going to need guys like Burks and Bogdanovich who can both hit a bucket. Because if Bogdanovich and Burks are both coming off your bench, and that's what you have in your second unit offensively, I mean, Lamborghini mercy. Okay, I'm stupid. That was, I realized it as soon as I said. But all I'm really trying to say is, if you really sit down and consider where the team is at, and look at the bigger picture of what's to come and what's on the way, this team is not as far off as you think they are. And because of what these guys can be, because of the work that I think they'll put in, because of what I think a Cade Cunningham can do with a full, healthy offseason to work on his game and to hopefully not feel shin pain for the first time since when he was 18, I'm not betting against that, whether they get Victor Wembanyama or not. So this is going to be a great celebration, and this is going to be another great reminder of the wealth of young talent that has come into Detroit in the past 3 years, but also the reminder of what's to come and the exciting days of Detroit basketball, because it's going to be built on the foundation of these young rising stars. And the fact that the league recognizes it tells you And the fact that the rest of the league recognizes it tells you it's legit. But what do you think? What do you think of Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren? What do you think of their future potential and what they can be? Are you excited to see them in the Rising Stars Challenge going up against Josh Giddey, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley? Do you think they could possibly come out with an MVP in that event? Let me know in the comment section down below. But also, be sure you join the From Half Court Discord to have more conversations about stuff like this each and every day. I'm there talking football, basketball with everybody, man. So I'm down to chat. I hope you are too. Join us in the Discord, but also hit the subscribe button so you're not missing content here at From Half Court. Be sure you subscribe.